You're watching 11 Alive Morning News. 11 minutes of nonstop news starts now.
We are kicking off your 11 minutes of nonstop news with a check on your forecast.
Chazzy, whoever closed the pools on Labor Day, you need to reopen them this week.
You are absolutely right about that, especially if you want to stay on the cool side, right? But temperatures will be heating up today. We do have a few sprinkles up here to the far north. They are dissipating, or at least trying to now. They're moving a little bit further down to the south, just around Ball Ground, headed down toward the Canton area right now. Just a few sprinkles there. A little bit heavier over toward Calhoun. You can see right there, right along I-75, headed down Calhoun, toward Calhoun. You do have that very heavy rain in there, but no lightning strikes associated with it. Now, temperatures this afternoon will start off in the 60s, but will heat up to about 91 degrees for an afternoon high.
This morning, a family is left with endless questions after a heartbreaking discovery.
Someone found a young boy dead near DeKalb County Park, and this morning, Molly Oak has more on that investigation into how he ended up there and why.
Jamarian Crosby was just 12 years old. He would have been 13 in December. He had a football game on Saturday, and then his grandmother tells us he went to hang out with some friends he recently met afterwards. But then on Monday afternoon, his body was found in Lithonia Park. Take a look at this video from the scene. A witness telling us she found the body in the bushes behind a townhome on Parkway Trail. She says she ran and told a neighbor to call 911 because there was someone dead. At this time, police are still investigating, working to learn a motive and if there's a possible suspect. Back to you all.
Molly, thank you. Your 11 minutes of nonstop news continues with an update on a Roswell jogger hospitalized after a vicious attack last week.
We've talked to his family members who tell us his condition is improving. Matthew Donald's father says his son is now off the ventilator and starting to talk again. But he's heavily sedated and being treated for a brain injury. Police say Donald was found badly beaten at Roswell Area Park near Canton Street. They hope that once he can regain some of his memory, he may be able to help investigators find who did this to him. He's expected to stay in the ICU for another week.
Parents and students in Gwinnett County are on edge after a threat was found on a school campus. Brookwood High School's principal sent a letter to families less than 24 hours ago. He says the threat was found written in a bathroom on Monday. It read, quote, "Tomorrow during 3rd, I will show all my bullies who I am." Officials say they are working to find out who's responsible. New
details about the impact Atlanta Medical Center's closure will have on expecting mothers. Wellstar tells us several OBGYN clinicians have relationships at other area hospitals and are ready to transition care. They say Wellstar is partnering with OBGYNs who deliver at AMC to make sure that all patients have a hospital for their delivery date and for all their care needs. AMC is set to close November 1st.
This week, Georgia Congresswoman Nikema Williams plans to introduce a resolution in the U.S. House to commemorate the 1906 Atlanta massacre, originally classified as a race riot. It was actually a 3-night assault against black communities, south and west of downtown. It happened 116 years ago this week. At least 25 people were killed.
We continue your 11 minutes of nonstop news with updates out of Puerto Rico. This morning, the island is still reeling from the impact of Hurricane Fiona. Gabe Gutierrez is there now.
We are tracking the latest developments after Hurricane Fiona slammed into Puerto Rico and then barreled into the Dominican Republic. More than 1 million people here in Puerto Rico are still without power, and the vast majority of this island is still without drinking water. Exactly 5 years after Hurricane Maria. The governor here says that more than 2,000 people are in emergency shelters and more than 1,000 residents had to be rescued from their homes as the floodwaters swept in. I'm Gabe Gutierrez in Puerto Rico, and we'll have the very latest on this developing story coming up on Today.
Events are planned all over Metro Atlanta on National Voter Registration Day. Jerry Carnes looks at what is at stake.
A rally at City Hall among the events taking place in Metro Atlanta on National Voter Registration Day. Georgia gained more than 1.5 million voters over the last 4 years. There are roughly the same number of active voters over the age of 65 as there are under the age of 30. The number of young voters is on the rise. Emory University political science professor Andra Gillespie tells us Georgia is rapidly gaining Asian and Latino voters. She says in 2012, Asian and Latino voters made up about 3% of Georgia's electorate. They now make up close to 12%. If you're not registered and want to vote in the November elections, you must register by October 11th.
It is 6:56. A former APS driver wishes she was picking up kids on the bus this morning, but she's found a creative way to stay connected. Sewing fills Susan McCaskill's days now after poor health forced her to stop driving after more than 20 years. She misses her kids.
When they step on the first step, those my babies.
They've kept in touch over the years.
Get emotional.
This year, she surprised her graduating seniors like Libby Zufi with quilts, gifts to take along to college.
I can't thank her enough for all the love that she's shown me and all the care.
Peep at it sometime. Miss McCaskill made that. This quilt.
Ms. McCaskill's made dozens of others, all personalized. Chesley, 30 hours of love into every one of those quilts. What a beautiful heart.
That's a lot of love. That's a lot of love right there. Hey, by noon today, we'll be looking at temperatures in the 80s. We're going to have partly to mostly sunny skies on the outside. Temperatures will begin to heat up this afternoon. By 3, looking at temperatures right around 89 degrees, going up to about 91 for an afternoon high. By 6 o'clock as you're driving home, you'll see just a few cumulus clouds out there. We'll be down to 87 by 6 o'clock. There may be an isolated shower or two. Most of us will stay on the dry side. Again, hot this afternoon.
Oh, definitely got to keep a close eye on that one, Craig.
Absolutely.
That's a popular spot.
Very popular, yeah.
Today's show is coming up next. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.